Greetings, fellow mercenaries. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to RimWorld, Fuel Barons of Tatooine, Episode 2, Reliable Rations. For that bruise, yeah, I think we're just not going to use industrial meds, but cool that you thought that that would be a reasonable response to that injury. I will have them carry their own meds now, though. And we are almost at freezer tech. This meat is going to last 19 hours. Maybe I get to freeze in time. We'll see. We'll see. Let's see. All you bodies. Oh, God. That other crate dragon's just lurking. All the other corpses, I'll stick down here. We don't want to see corpses, especially not in our doorways. I'm watching you. Okay, air conditioning is done. Next up, we'll go to hydroponics. So let's get air conditioning up. So go to temperature, aircon unit. I'm going to stick the aircon unit here. It's nice and nested. And then I'm going to stick a walk-in freezer here and connect it up. We are also going to need to run power over there. And we're going to need to run water over there. Go, go, go. Whoa, that scared me. And Frosty, because of his awful barrack, is hiding in the room. That's okay, dude. I'm sure it was actually all the corpses that you had to see. You should get used to it. This series is going to be full of corpses. Alright, there's the air conditioning unit. And the freezer. This freezer is set to -4 Celsius. And I just need to increase the power draw of the aircon unit to keep the meat frozen. Its demand and capacity is the same, so eventually it will hit temperature. I'm going to lower the temperature a little bit to, let's say, -10°C. Cool. Let's go and move the kitchen table down there as well. And then probably at least concrete up, because I don't really want food poisoning. Sounds like a bad time. Oh, you know what? We have a lot of tiles. I will tile it up. I will tile everything up. And to make the tiling a little bit easier, I'll get lights. I'll have them mirrored. Alright, so this power, I probably should have made the cable on the inside. And I'll fix that. Oops. Oh, good. Nothing like a psychic droner to, you know, help with mood. Zero, you don't mind seeing bodies, so how about you haul them? And then there was this guy up here that died, or girl. Whatever she was. Alright, first thing, I would say tiling the kitchen is more important than the potential dining room. So, current priority is make a clean kitchen. Right, dude? Yeah. The blood definitely can be cleaned up. A lot of the other filth, not so much. Alright, well, hopefully that catharsis will be helpful. Looks like we're going to need steel again in high quantities. And I already have a node to be harvested. My freezer is now frozen, so come morning time, I think it will be hunting the last crate dragon. That will keep us fed for a good long time, I hope. How are crate dragon horns compare as weapons? They're really strong. But because Red is our craftsman and constructor, I think a breach axe, which looks like a hammer, makes more sense. Even though the crate horns are stronger. So as soon as Frosty's up, we'll go hunt it. Oh, never mind, we're getting hunted. Rendezvous here. Yeah, that was the right choice. Danger! Rhodey and run! See Rhodey run. I'm not as edible as he thought I was. There we go. I am the great crate killer. And there's no more wildlife on this map tile. It just goes to show how absolutely rare it is for creatures to be here. I got really lucky that there were 3 crate dragons at the start. But now that we're in mid-April, it's like too warm for most of them to spawn naturally. So knowing that I'm going to want hydroponics... Oh, you know, one thing that could be nice, it's rather expensive, would be crematorium. I don't really know where to place it. Yeah, I don't know where to place it, but that would be nice to have. I think for now, because I don't know where to place it, I'm just going to bury these guys in the sand. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll build a few extra graves, because I'm sure we'll fill them. And we're down to only 30 package survival meals. So it's really good that we got hunting. Wow, thanks for all the gifted subs. Cheers. Frosty, have you been mining? Oh, yes, yes you have. And then we're going to work on the cabling on the perimeter so that I can get lights. And Frosty in the morning is going to be removing that mountain so I can get hydroponics to the west. So question, should I build hydroponics west of the freezer? Yes, no, somewhere else. Pretty straightforward poll there. I'm only going to give a minute, but first poll. It's a weird poll for it being the first, but first poll of the stream. Awesome, there he goes. Now he's getting rid of the mountain that is that direction. The idea that I have in mind is I want to surround the oasis by buildings so that it's hard for people to even see that of oasis, to hide the fact that I am, you know, water rich, and also as a means of protecting the colony, building sort of building a perimeter that exists for a purpose, not just as a boundary wall. Yes, it is. All right. So the sun lamp will go right there. Make sure that there's no roofs, as far as I can tell. And hydroponics just got done. Flick this off, please, Red. Okay, next up, we are going to need solar. Solar is the best to offset, at least initially, to offset sun lamps, because when the sun's up, the sun lamps are on and they counteract one another. The other thing is fecal sludge. Put the fecal sludge, you know, outside. Please and thank you. Hey, Zero, thanks for the gifted subs, and glad that you are an experimental drone, or droid for us. Oh, there's one more to bury. That's right. Alright, double insulating the grow zone as well, because hot. And then there are some pieces of this that won't need, well, I'll fill it in later. But there are some pieces of this that can be removed as well. And the only way in and out is going to be the west door straight to the kitchen, so that it doesn't become a thoroughfare. Actually, you know what? Let me move the sun lamp in one and remove these walls as well. So I will reconfigure the walls that we have. Flick off. There's nothing to grow. Okay, there we go. That will be our grow zone. Did I know that I can put a sprinkler and a grow lamp at the same spot? I did. Sprinklers don't really help for hydroponics though. And the soil on Tatooine is so low fertile that you can't even plant on it. I will be able to plant on it later on with additional tech. But for now, it has to be hydroponic basins only. Or we starve to death as the alternative, because I'm down to 22 meals. Preferably not to starve to death. Just a personal preference. Call me old-fashioned, but famine is not my favorite experience. Would fertilizer help? Fertilizer would help the soils, yeah, but not by much. It's a small bump, and I don't have fertilizer tech anyway, so it's relatively moot. You will have soon the option to vote on research priorities, but I'm just trying to get hydroponics up because it's a matter of survival, and I can't poll on it because if I don't get hydroponics up, I just die, and the series ends. Oh, there are 4 unroofed areas. Zero, you built them. Because I don't want meat to spoil. Done. Can fertilizer be used in hydroponic basins? No. Sprinklers don't matter. Fertilizer doesn't matter. Hydroponic basins are standalone, but they're far more efficient than native soil. Tatooine soil sucks. That's what I'm trying to say. So now it's going to be a big push for steel. Hydroponic basins cost a lot of components and a lot of steel. Frosty's already out there mining. I'm going to have Can join him. And make sure that I have... Yeah, this looks kind of close to the base. Yeah, it's kind of close to the base. That's silver. Make sure that I have all the steel that I need for all the basins that I'm going to want. I'm trying to hold out, if you're wondering, why I haven't made simple meals out of the meat, is I'm trying to hold out for fine meals for when I start to get rice. That's what I'm waiting on. Okay. Looking good. And I will build a zone like this. I'm going to leave one spot open here for a possible heater, because in the Tatooine winters it does get cold. But this is meta, so to speak. The other thing I'm going to need is water for that. So bring this water pipe over to the hydroponic basins so that they'll actually be able to grow some stuff. Getting pretty close to solar power. So what I'm going to do is poll about research after solar power. So here are the options. So let me explain them a little bit for the first time here. I know they go off the screen, but Rimfeller technology or Rheinfeller technology would be drilling for oil, which allows us to process it into chem fuel, which is a product required for space fuel. Hygiene technology would be things like composting our fecal sludge into fertilizer or building septic tanks. In terms of droid technology, I will just put my thumb on the scale. I know you can barely see me. Don't vote for droid technology. Droids are so expensive, we're not going to be able to make them for a while. They're way too expensive. In terms of shield technology, there is shields, base-wide shields. So under the shields tree, there is a shield generator, and that will protect us from incoming fire, light arm fire, and also mortar fire, and pod drop raiders. There is weapons and armor. There's a whole lot of weapons and armor in this mod pack. Non-shield defenses like turrets, napalm, embrasures, creature comforts, or other vanilla research. So you can decide. All right, 0. I'm going to take you off of... actually, no, keep stone cutting. Because I think this all will become floored up as well. Okay, Frosty, it looks to me like you don't have mining tasks. Oh, man, you mined quick. Dang, I looked away for just a second and you're done. That's ridiculous. Oh, I think it's because Can joined them, and the two of them combined are the Mining Brothers. Alright, in here, I'm also going to place a wall light. Maybe 2 wall lights. So that I can see what I'm doing while I'm flooring up and placing everything. So, current priority is build hydroponics. I'll put 2.5 more minutes on this poll. That is totally way too big and blocks me out. That's okay. I prefer it that way. Although it looks like drilling for oil is going to be the next thing that we do. So solar panels just got done. I'm going to resolve this early, in fact, and start the research for oil drilling. So with solar panels, this will help to offset the grow light sun lamp power requirements. And I'm trying to space it out so that if there's a fire, we can easily put it out. It's a lot of solar. Let's start with 2 and see if we need more than that. With a single wall between hydroponics and the freezer, won't the cold air bleed? Yes, but actually that just benefits the hydroponics because it's often way too warm on Tatooine, so it helps to cool down the hydroponic room, and the freezer will still remain at temp. So it's an intentional bleed of air. It will only really matter in like a brief winter month when heaters will need to be kicked on in the hydroponics room, but that will happen for only a few days in RimWorld. Or a cold snap. Right, because right now it's April, it's spring, and it's 40 Celsius or 102 Fahrenheit out. So yeah, you can imagine what summer feels like. It's worse. We're down to just the last few meals, so it'd be really... I guess we could already start berry harvesting. So, Matcha, get out there and harvest some berries, and then Zero, hop on research while she's harvesting berries, so that I can start to make fine meals. And we're getting the basins up. Make sure that Can and Frosty are mining. And I'm going to have them do a lot of steel hauling as well. And Matcha now has 64 berries. So if you're wondering about the water table here, let me go to the water well. Obviously, most of the water is this little patch here, but there's a little bit of underground water around the map. Very, very scarce. But it accounts for why there is more life on this oasis tile than on other tiles. Oh, there's another Gizka. So, Bill, fine meals do forever, and drop on the floor when we're done. And yes, it is a little strange that my robot is the cook, since he's never had food in his life, but the mercenaries aren't picky about the quality of the meals. There's basically no time left on these coolers here. So what I'm gonna do is set up another aircon unit. Here to keep the starter room. This room is probably temporary, and I'm gonna break it down at some point, but I don't want it to get so hot that I can't do research before that point. All right, looking good. 12 meals out of that. That's not bad. So are droids working like any other pawn? Yes. I said this really early on, but basically the mod is not well developed. It's not like Android tiers where they have complexities. They're Zero is a bit different because Zero is an experimental droid that I designed myself in terms of modding, but most of the other droids are very simple. They can only do a few tasks. They don't do them all that well. They work very, very slowly. They're very basic. To briefly go over the droids, you have the 3PO and TC series, which are your protocol social droids. So they would be really good droids once I have lodging at this spaceport. When I'm trying to impress visitors to be able to recruit them, the 3PO or TC series droids would be good entertainers. The BB series are probably going to be your haulers and cleaners. They move a little bit faster than the R series. There's no need for C1. It exists, but it's not better at anything. And then the only other drone worth making is an R4 series, because the R4 series can help to do some resource production. So those are the kind of the four droids that we're likely to see, or really three. I'll have you pick between 3PO and TC, because they're identical basically. So pick between 3PO and TC, BB, and R4. Those are the three droids that are probably going to be employed. I could do more if you guys want, but the droids aren't different really at all from one another. The difference between an R2, R3, R4, R5, R6 is essentially just looks. And they're ridiculously expensive to manufacture. So the only reason we'd ever want them is if we needed haulers or cleaners, because that's pretty much the only thing they're good at. Just to give you the lowdown on droids. Oh, let's switch. You know, let's have you start building. The C1 series are the chopper droids from the Rebels. They're also psychopaths. Yeah, so to go into even more detail, and this, if you take a look at the mods collection that I posted on Steam, I made a lot of changes to the droids mods specifically because they weren't balanced and they didn't make any sense. So the droid mods the droid mods before I started modifying them were very, very inexpensive to build, so you could churn them out like clones, and they could equip weapons, which wasn't balanced at all either. So what I ended up doing was I sort of nerf hammered them, where I made them a lot more expensive and less capable of doing stuff. They also were manufactured with their own personalities, but the personalities didn't really make any sense. You'd have droids that had like cannibalism or like greedy, and it's like, you don't have bedrooms. How are you a greedy drone or droid? So I designed droids basically to not have personalities at all. I more or less lobotomized them because they weren't designed very well to begin with. So if you're familiar with the droids mods for RimWorld, this is not that. I made enough changes that it's transformative, I would say. But all those changes I have on my website, so if you want to download them and play them for yourself, you're welcome to, because they're, publicly available already. So, Matcha, you got some sewing to do. First race. How's the... Okay, the power grid is like, no, my power. So let's fix that. Even one solar panel will help to offset. I like how you placed all but the single cable that are really needed. This is very useful. And Frosty, what do you... no, you're stone cutting? Incorrect. Put you back on task. So I'm going to have Zero just be a builder for a bit, because I need extra help. But it looks like these solar panels will help to offset the grow lights. And we're down to 5 meals. I don't think that there were another... Oh, yeah, no, there's a berry patch here. Sorta. Let me check for other berry patches. It's a severely limited amount of food that we'll have available to us. No one should eat nutrient paste meals? Yes. I mean, we're mercenaries. We're not, you know, sand moisture farmers. We deserve a little extra calories in our food. MPM's nasty. We need a cantina? Oh, I intend to have one. Later on down the line if you guys vote for it. So after we research... drill for oil? What do you want after that? I'm going to try to trim the list a little bit so that it doesn't completely cover me up. So let's see. Does this fit? Yeah, it's a little better. So after drilling for oil, we have chem fuel refining, which allows us to power our base with refined oil made into chem fuel, which is a pretty powerful tech. Hygiene technology could be sludge composting. And then droid technology, I kind of already mentioned that the droids are really expensive and they don't do very much. They're very useful later on once we have a starport, but they're not really useful until then. Weapons and armor, I can start going for... Most of the weapons are in the research pulse charge munitions. So here are the Star Wars weapons. And then most of the armor is researched under marine armor. Another thing about the Star Wars mods is the armor was super not balanced. So I have gone to a bit of length of effort to balance the armor in the mod pack, but I didn't do a whole lot. I just fixed the most egregiously imbalanced stuff. For reference, like Stormtrooper armor at normal quality was equivalent to like legendary cataphract armor, which makes no sense whatsoever. They were basically immune to damage. I mean, it was kind of ridiculous. Whoever designed it spent a little bit too much in the cantina. Too much time in the cantina. That's what I'm going to say. The other thing I could start to work on is a multi-analyzer that would help out with research speed. So let's get some of the gold that I found out there. And plasteel. Yeah, there it is. And I'm going to set up this cook zone to be a little bit more efficient. So I'll have meat, veg, tea, something. I don't even know what that's going to be. I'll use it, I'm sure. We don't have tea research, but I will. I'm at some point. So I got leaves. I'll delete that for now. And then we're going to want meals. Now, I do have a freezer mod, which allows me to build freezers. I just didn't want to allocate resources to it early on, because it's not necessary. Oops, spelled that wrong. It's really psychoid. Is the oasis shrink? Nope. It's the same size. It's fed by an underground aquifer. It's not gonna change significantly in size. Not in our lifetimes. Alright, Frosty, I am going to have you go after the rare resources that we need for a multi-analyzer. Oh, a heat wave! Okay, alright. That's cool. And I don't mean that literally. One thing I could do to protect us from a little bit of the heat wave is to get some Gixa clothing. Because their leathers are incredibly good at mitigating heat. And that would help someone like Can, who spends a lot of time outside mining, from not dying of heat. And it looks like hygiene technology is going to be queued up next. Got it. So make a cowboy hat out of the Gixa. We have just enough Gixa skin for it. Can, you're going to look pretty funny in this hat. But if you take a look at the hat, heat insulation, 64.8 Fahrenheit. Yeah. Can is going to be feeling great. No one else, but Can will. I could make crate dragon hats. I probably am not going to, because the crate dragon leather is equivalent to Thrumbo fur, and it doesn't have really good insulation properties. It's only 18, but for sharp, it's incredibly good, so it's better for armor, like dusters, than it is for insulating clothing. Are you even going to be able to... don't have a mental break, please. Alright, freezer's still frozen in the heat wave. It is 70 Celsius out, so it's a little toasty, in other words. And then the hydroponics is not cold enough, so let's introduce aircon units in there. And I'm going to build them right away so that we can actually start to get high yield from the hydroponics. We're going to have Red and Can get that built. Yeah, it's sauna level temperature. For sure. Alright, taking a look at the aircon pipes. Run them over. Hey, Freetowners. There's a Twi'lek and a Councilman Human. Just coming by to say hi, I think. Thank you for tuning in to RimWorld Fuel Barons of Tatooine, which originally streamed live on Twitch September 17th and September 18th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, Let me know in the comments below, but please keep in mind that this was a one-time streamed mini-series. If you would like to try this for yourself, all of the files can be found in links in the description. Please read the directions carefully because a lot of setup and modifications are required to duplicate this scenario. If you would like to get involved in my gaming community, which helps to determine the mini-series I stream month to month and the games that I play on Twitch, please join Discord. The link to that can be found in the description of the video and at Rhadamant.com. My stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams and episodes are also at Rhadamant.com. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel. I'll catch you in next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow mercenaries.